Hello and welcome to episode 127 of Prose. This week, worship materialism and have a woman change your life on the subway. As a general note, the first short story this week is experimental. I hope that you'll keep an open mind as we slide into that one. The second story? Well, it's just plain special to me. I will yet again forego my usual pleas, shorten these introductory comments, and simply encourage you to go explore prosepodcast.com. All sorts of fun stuff is there. Go check it out. Thanks for listening. Let's get to the tale, shall we? This week we have Unrepentant Church of the Almighty Pound and On the Way to Yoga. Enjoy. Unrepentant Church of the Almighty Pound, an original short story by Jared I. McGee. An invocation and a call to worship. O ye faithful of the unrepentant Church of the Almighty Pound. A benediction and a reminder of the path. O ye faithful of the unrepentant Church of the Almighty Pound. Pound and dollar and yen and ruble and apsar and Afghani and Nayara and Rial and shekel and lira and krona and balboa and peso and dinar and rand and manat and samani and kwacha and shilling and vatu and dram and taka and yuan and sixpence and franc and halfpenny and denarius and copper and silver and gold and platinum. In the olden days, paprika and poppy and salt and sugar and myrrh and coriander and fennel and juniper and cumin and garlic and thyme and anise and saffron paid mortgages, full low-risk 401ks, real estate, additional 4.25% 30-year mortgages, high interest rates, never touch the principal mutual funds, futures diversify, flossing, stunting, flexing, glow, grow, gloss, gloat, show up, trapping, find it, flip it. May we all fall under the sway of Mammon, Mamona, Mamuna, Manomar, Shnoda, Didiscalia. Let them help us lay up in mountains the treasures of this earth, where moth and rust doth flee, in the light of the glint. Though thieves may try to break through and steal, we shall stop them together in our wealth. Lay up these treasures for yourselves, so high, so great, as they may rival the treasures in heaven. Let your treasures reflect your heart, vast and wide. Let the two masters know of your devotion, the celestial and the terrestrial. Hate not one and love not the other, and love the other always. Hold both in your heart and keep them under lock and under key. May we follow Epicurus, Theodorus, Aristippus, Dionysus the renegade, and their ilk. Let us all come together in our desire to accumulate, to exclude, together to excess. Let come alive our prayers, drop top, raindrop, Lambo, Ferrari, crypto, drip and ice, Aston Martin, chains and diamonds. Seek ye 56 a gram, but only with a 500 grams set, though. Judge not how she works the damn pole. This too is the way to the almighty pound, dollar, and yen, and ruble, and apsar, and Afghani, and Nayara. Let the adherents of the church seek fidelity in these ways. The nourishment of these adherents comes from the money and the mind, and one must always keep their mind on their money and their money on their mind. There is no other way. Whether our prayer is communal or personal, vocal or interior, we must forsake all else to make it rain wealth upon us and those we hold dear. We must nourish ourselves on dividends and many commas in the bank accounts, many bands on many stacks in our houses. Though with mo money comes mo problems, a celebration to and of this liturgy must remain. Do not let the doubters and the cynics steer your path off course. All ye faithful know. Seek that Millie, those whips, that pussy, those dicks, trees on trees on trees. Crush any feelings of doubt. Abandon charity to fellow man. The needy and the wanting are that way of their own accord. Neglect the giving of alms and the bleeding of resources, lest we become one of them, lest we fail to shine, to rise, to thrive. Fuck 'em, this is rich kid shit. Cash rules everything around me, cash rules everything around me. I will let the names of all that I want leave my lips daily in reverence. Let the universe favor me. Let the wheel of life turn, and the blessings, favor, and riches fall down with each revolution. Yea, double the blessings of Abraham and Elisha, of J and Ye. At the end of my life, when I die, bury me inside the Gucci store. When I die, bury me inside the Louis store. From now until then, all I want for my birthday is a big booty hoe. All I want for my birthday is a big booty hoe, and all the wealth and accumulation that comes with such diversification of sexual manifestation. We pray together for abundance. We pray together for manifestation of the horde. We pray together that from the power of God that I am, from the heart of God that I am, I decree, I dwell in the midst of infinite abundance, the abundance of wealth upon this world in my infinite source. The river of gold never stops flowing, and it flows through me with lavish expression. Good comes to me through unexpected avenues, and all that is mighty works in myriad ways to bless me. I now open my mind to receive my good. Nothing is too good to be true. Nothing is too wonderful to have happen. Hey, what's up, hello, divine blessings that shall rain down with bands and hoes. I am not burdened by thoughts of past or future. One is gone, the other yet to come. By the power of my belief, coupled with my purposeful, fearless actions, my future is created and my abundance made manifest. I am indeed worthy. I shall have what I want, all I want, and I shall have it in excess. And so it is. Thus we pray together for abundance. Thus we pray together for manifestation of the horde. Pound and dollar and yen and ruble and apsar and Afghani and Nayara and Riyal and shekel and lira and krona and baboa and peso and dinar and rand and manat and samani and kuwacha and shilling and vatu and dram and taka and yuan and sixpence and franc and halfpenny and denarius and copper and silver and gold and platinum. In the elden days, paprika and poppy and salt and sugar and myrrh and coriander and fennel and juniper and cumin and garlic and thyme and anise and saffron. Let us go from this place and get high with our babies, get flyer than fly with our babies. ride in our whips with our babies, cook pies in the kitchen with our babies. Yea, yea, yeah, yeah. Yea, let it be, so all those who worship at this altar of the unrepentant Church of the Almighty Pound. Let it stand as an invocation and a call to worship, O ye faithful of the unrepentant Church of the Almighty Pound. Let this serve as our benediction and a reminder of the path and a final call to action. O ye faithful, ye greedy, wondrous misers of the unrepentant Church of the Almighty Pound. Thank you for listening to Unrepentant Church of the Almighty Pound, an original short story by me, Jared I. McGee. I know that one was a little bit different, maybe a touch irreverent, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. Please stick around for our next short story. It's a little more close to what you are probably expecting. On the Way to Yoga, an original short story by Jared I. McGee. Human speech is like a cracked kettle, on which we tap crude rhythms for bears to dance to, while we long to make music that will melt the stars. Gustave Flaubert, Madame Bovary. For once, I didn't have my earbuds in. Maybe it was the summer buzzing in my brain. The heat and the newness of my new city made me heady and eager. It felt like I should be open to the world. Thankful for Google Maps, I had hopped on the C train near my apartment, heading to my self-thrown birthday bash at a dim sum place in Chinatown. Not an auspicious start to my social life in the city, but there's not much one can do. Even I could see myself as a newbie, a hayseed small-town boy bumbling about the metropolis. My newness shone from me. I beamed at faces and places, my head and neck on a swivel. Most make tell like there is nothing to see on the subway. But to me, well, I thought it was something rather special. I'd been on underground transportation in London and Paris and Beijing and Tokyo and Taiwan and Sydney and DC and Milan and Shanghai. But I had never lived where I could take a train somewhere. Hell, I'd only ever taken surface trains abroad too. Cognizant of the looks I was getting, some disdainful, some condescending but kinder, I continued to bob around on the heels of my feet, excited for everything, at least in that moment. It was one of those times in life where everything is blank. The next day is question marks. The year holds so much possibility it is bursting. Those times are always invigorating, inspiring. It's not often my optimism and my eye to the future and toward potential future success stamp down the cynicism and pessimism that marks most of my thoughts on any given hour of any given day most weeks.
When the lady hopped on, she did so with a bit of a stumble. Her bumbling led her into a literal run-in with me. I caught her in her yoga mat. She chortled and apologized quickly. "Could you tell me how to get to?" I hadn't heard of whatever place it was she was asking me about, but we were heading into the next stop. So my service peaked back up and I quickly Googled her stop, giving her the directions as to however many stops she was needing. "Oh, hey, you're getting off the same stop as me. I'll tell you when we need to hop off." Great. Now, do I hear a bit of twang in your voice, hon? I'm sure you hear mine. And indeed, I could. Here was a beautiful woman engaging me, and I was only 2 subway stops into my very first New York City adventure. Alethea wanted to talk, and talk we did at a sprinter's pace. I wondered if this was how one conversed on trains, when your partner might jump out of your life for good at any moment. She was trying to find her yoga class. Despite her twang, she was actually in from the south of France, near Marseille, but was there in Brooklyn visiting a friend. Originally, she was from Alabama, and then Florida. Florida is where she began to live her first life, what she called her inauthentic life. She started talking about what she meant by not living an authentic life, giving me machine gun definitions and anecdotes, seemingly desperate to get it all out before our inevitable parting ways upon the departure from the train. Alethea was married for 13 years and had a 13-year-old son. He was still back in France. His summer-long snowboarding camp allowed Alethea to travel and live the single life for 3 months a year now. She had, until recently, lived on a sailboat with her husband and that son, but she hated it. That was Sven's dream. It was what he wanted. She wanted to make him happy, so she agreed to this itinerant lifestyle of being a seafaring family. It took her about a decade, but she realized that she was miserable. Alethea found that she wanted to live authentically. She became desperate for human contact on that boat. It still clung to her, that desperation. She said that. She told me, a stranger, and I could all but taste it on her. It wafted off of her in waves, carried over to me along with her expensive perfume. I remember that I wondered who wore such blatantly high-end perfume to work out. Alethea told me that she loved it that I was talking to her. She told me that this was what the world was missing and why we had such utter disconnectedness and droves of unhappy people shuffling through the world like zombies. She railed against the people stumbling about with earbuds in and faces to screens. She pointed out to me that we each looked up for the better part of 10 minutes and had met someone, and had begun a special electric conversation just in that time. She said that. She told me, a stranger, that this was electric and special and appreciated. She used the words intentional and deliberate a lot. When we were about 10 stops away, she gave me an article on the top 5 regrets in life. In fact, it turned out to be a pretty famous article called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. That was based off Bronnie Ware's book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, A Life Transformed by the Dearly Departing. Alethea had me hold her up, propping her and me both using the subway pole as leverage, as she read through the 5 regrets to me right there on the train. I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. You see, You just have to live an authentic life. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. You work too hard. I can see it in your eyes. It's not worth wasting your years you have left on this rock, sugar. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. We're all works in progress here, am I right? I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. This right here, this is why I'm heading to yoga to meet my friend. It's high time I start cultivating these friendships I've lost these past 13 years. I wish that I had let myself be happier. It's okay to smile, even with strangers on the subway. As she finished off her numbered list and the editorializing she was doing between each regret, she squeezed my right hand that had been stabilizing her while my left held onto her yoga mat. Her smile was radiant, a cliche but true. It brought with it such warmth that anyone in its aim simply couldn't avoid smiling in return. The car lurched and the brakes screeched. The muffled conductor read off a stop. Our stop. Alethea had to remind me it was our stop. I had become derelict in my duties. She had sought directions from me, and I had become lost in her tornadic tour of her life and budding universal philosophy. We made our way off the train. She said she had to hurry and that she was going up a different set of stairs than me. Just like that, my first human connection in New York City was gone. Under no circumstances would I ever see her again. Could I see her again? She'd be back in the south of France in the next 2 weeks, and I'd be here, with one less possibility. My solitary lunch suddenly seemed far less edgy independence and far more loneliness and confinement. Those 5 regrets resounded in my head, echoing with each step I took heading into Chinatown's beehive of activity. Two years later, and I still keep an eye out for Alethea on the C train. She leaps into my thoughts, stumbling in to jumble my thinking and make me ponder if I'm living into those earmarked regrets. Her smile warms me. Her words inspire me. Her spirit haunts me. She lingers. But I am left with just self-reflection. As the question marks disappear and the open-ended possibilities begin to limit themselves. As I realize I don't know who I really am. That I work too much and that work consumes my thoughts. That I am mortified at showing my innermost feelings or sharing my internal self. That I miss my friends and family. That I might have forgotten how to allow myself to be happy all over again. Alethea opened my eyes on the way to yoga. If we had a keen vision and feeling of all ordinary human life, it would be like hearing the grass grow and the squirrel's heart beat, and we should die of that roar which lies on the other side of silence. George Eliot, Middlemarch. Thank you for listening to On the Way to Yoga, an original short story by me, Jared I. McGee. All sounds that you've heard across this episode come from YouTube's free audio library and freesound.org. Everything's being used under CC 01.0 public domain dedication licenses. That does it for prose this week. I hope you enjoyed these interesting little experiments we participated in together. I know that I did. I hope I will see you right back here in this feed in 2 weeks' time with our next episode. Until then, love those around you, tell them that you do, and embrace this life as it is, always stranger than fiction. Thanks for listening.